Pleased to meet you. This is Fixed and Folded, the knife review channel for the casual knife collector. I am Cody, and today I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite fixed blade. Now, a long time ago, many videos ago, I talked about this, but time to do a refresh because I bought a new one. It is the Cold Steel Leatherneck. Full size. This one is in D2 and it has a DLC coated blade that stands for diamond light coating. The coating is nicely durable. It has withstood hard use over the years, and you've got a rubber grip which has nice cutouts on the sides for directional reference. You have a natural directionality because it's not perfectly round. The fingers rest really nicely on the side because it's equal on both sides. You get a nice orientation, whether you go left or right-handed. And this is just a really useful combat knife design, survival knife design. This, or around the house heavy-duty cutting tool design. You have a full tang with exposed tang at the end there. You have a hammer pommel. You can hammer down some tent pegs if you want, or crush nuts, crack skulls, zombie skulls. You can see it's pinned in the side there. There's really tight construction with the handguard. There's absolutely no play. The fit from the blade into the guard onto the handle is perfect. And you have a good usable length of blade for self-defense, even batoning if you have to. The swedge is unsharpened. Let's see if you can find the spine on the top there. There's about, I'd say, a 1/16 of an inch along here that is just flat. So it's not been rounded, it's just flat, unsharpened. And while a swedge near the top is never ideal for batoning, you'll be able to still do it. The taper only happens at the very end. Pretty much where the hollow grind lines start is when the taper begins. And it tapers down not to a needle point, but to a pretty fine point. You can see there, it's pretty fine. The weight for the knife is pretty heavy. This is noticeably heavier than a K-bar. Also a bit shorter. The K-bar, I believe, has the full 7-inch blade, where this one is, let's see how long this is. The unsharpened area of the blade is 7 inches, and the sharpened area is 6.5 inches sharpened. This space is not big enough to choke up on. This is just a sharpening choil, but at least for my extra large glove size hands, there is space for my thumb to go over top pretty comfortably and get the thumb forward position for more control if I'm going to be doing some woodworking tasks, wood carving. Because this is a hollow grind, I'm told that that's not ideal for woodcraft, but a hollow grind is going to be great for slicing, especially through soft targets and cardboard. I did a slicing test with all of my fixed blades, probably 20, 2 years ago, into a foam sleeping mattress, a foam sleeping pad, and the two noticeably by far sliciest knives I had were both cold steels. It was the cold steel Leatherneck and the cold steel Trailmaster. They were both sliced the deepest into the foam mattress. And I haven't used the Trailmaster for any, heavy duty tasks, but I was just stuck with the cold steel Leatherneck to do all my heavy duty work around the house. So that involves breaking down large furniture boxes, my Lazy Boy chair boxes, cutting them into manageable pieces for recycling. So pretty thick cardboard, my refrigerator box. And I've ordered a number of tires. I used to be into buying like a new car every year or two. And I'd always get the same Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires for them for the northern climate. It's kind of, if you're lazy like me, you want to have a set of tires in the north that you can keep on all year that are 3-peak mountain snow rated. So I get those, and they come with thick plastic straps. And I wouldn't trust most of my, EDC folding knives to cut those, but this absolutely does a great job slicing through thick things. I even used it to demolish a laptop, and I pried off all the metal keys with it, and used the pommel and crushed the crap out of a laptop probably 8 years ago. And the only damage was just the tippy tip, like the last 100th of the blade chipped off. And I was even able to put a nice sharp edge back on that, so piercing was still excellent. Just used like a diamond rod and went along until it got really sharp. And so the performance of the blade held up for, I think I had that knife for about 10 years. And that was my heavy duty knife that I used exclusively around the house. And I just had it up for sale with my friend, and it looks very much like this, but my only issue with that was aesthetic, really. The bevel, the cutting edge, that one, it was symmetrical. Like, some bevels you can find off this way, asymmetrical or whatever. But one of the edges of cutting edges was shorter. So this was a thinner edge bevel on one side, and then a full edge bevel carved, ground in on the other side. And then at the tip, the edge bevel was not symmetrical. It was off like that. And I figured it doesn't affect performance of a working knife, but I really appreciated the design of the knife, and also I like the looks of it too. And so it's been my favorite knife and my user knife for about 8 years. So prices are still not that bad for them, affordable. So saw this one in the store, I checked the bevel, bevel's good, bevel's even, but I'll better get myself a new one and sell my old one. And so I've had many fixed blades over the years. I've owned probably 40 various fixed blades from all the major companies. Spyderco, Darndow, Tops, Zombie Tools, Cold Steel, Ontario Knives Company, and others. And K-Bar, right? but this one's always been my favorite. And so I like that the handguard curls forward. I also like a design where the handguard is just straight. I find with some models, like the K-Bar combat fighting knife, where the handguard curls down. Once my hand goes up to it, it's uncomfortable, right? It like pinches, it's like a hot spot, pinches into the hand. I guess technically people could argue that if it's going down, it's going to provide more protection against the hand sliding forward, but really if you get a flat cross guard or curls up a little bit, I still think that's really going to do the job for you to protect the hand from going forward. And if it goes up a little bit, if you're fighting a sword wielding zombie or a knife wielding zombie, that can actually trap the blade. And then you can pivot away and run away, right? And survive, live another day. So I'm happy with this implementation here. I wear extra large gloves. You can see, even if I had bigger gloves, I have enough room on the handle to wield it. And yeah, I think this is just a really great all-around outdoor military survival knife size. Comes with a nice Kydex sheath that does have a drain hole. And the fitment is really good. I think Cold Steel does custom, like final adjustments of the scabbard to each individual knife. I've tried different scabbards or sheaths. I guess it's not a scabbard, this is a sheath. Tried different sheaths with this knife in cutting edge cutlery, and they didn't fit this knife. They fit the other Cold Steel Leathernecks, whereas this one fits. This is the one that came with this, fits perfectly. So I think that Cold Steel does adjust tensions for each individual knife, which is nice. They've always fit really great for me. All the Cold Steels with the Kydex sheaths, the OSS, all the Cold Steel, the SRK, all the Recon Tantos, they all fit really nice with the knife. And it's a pressure fit. The detent is above the handguards. It's just some little indents here that fits it fitment shut. And there's no rattle, and it's nice and secure. And you just push with your thumb to release, and you're good to go. Light. You have a belt loop. You got Velcro. You have a secondary fastener, which is used mainly for if you're going to be carrying it upside down to reduce any chance of rattling, or also just to keep it secure in a pack or something if you have other gear around it, so that this just doesn't flop around. But I've never felt the need, if I'm just carrying this on my belt, I've never felt the need to use this, but it's easily, you can just snap it shut, put it behind. You can cut it off if you really hate it, but it's nice to have that extra secondary feature. Generally, the people that use these outdoors, going camping with it, I hear that they don't use this part. They just have this as secure enough. The whole price, this was around $95 Canadian about 10 years ago when I bought it. And now they've upped the price a tiny bit. This was 104, 105 Canadian. With inflation, that's good, right? You get a nice, relatively hard rubberized handle, coated D2, nice Kydex sheath. Really good hollow grind, nice belly, nice piercing tip, relatively thick blade stock. Now, I'm perfectly happy with D2 on any of my knives as long as it's coated. D2 is a semi-stainless steel. It's not a stainless steel. Corrosion resistance is like 4 or 5 out of 10, and you want above 7 to be considered a stainless steel. So if it's coated, then you're good. Edge retention is good on D2. It's about 5 out of 10. And toughness is not great. It's about maybe between 3 and 4 out of 10. But then if you get into CPM D2, which is powder formed D2 instead of ingot formed, then the toughness goes up quite a bit because the grain structure is a lot finer in a powder form. And then if you go to a spray form, it's about medium, and then ingot form, the grain structure is the largest. And because you can get imperfections, the larger the grain structure is, then those grains can cause some chipping more easily than if it's finer grain structure. But in my experience using the Leatherneck, cutting hard plastic things, thick cardboard, prying metal, which is an abuse of the knife you're not supposed to do, it's held up really well. We'll do a cutting test. I've always been impressed with the cutting edge of the Leatherneck. This is receipt paper. You can see. Oh. I'm impressed when a large fixed blade can cut receipt paper because they don't have to do that to be effective. Usually large fixed blades can be used for, doing woodcraft and just, survival things. It doesn't have to be hair shaving sharp to be a useful, durable tool. But yeah, this thing will shave some hair out of the box. I'll just do a weight on this and I'll tell you the weight. The weight, 12.2 ounces. I don't know if that's how that is for a fixed blade, but I can tell you this is heavier than a K-bar. But size is another factor if you're taking this out in the wilderness. And yes, this is a couple inches longer than a cold steel SRK, which is not so much a combat knife, it's more of a survival and multi-use knife. Also has a hollow ground blade and a nice piercing tip, but it doesn't have the full hand guard. It just has a rubber finger guard on the bottom, and this flat here lends for more thumb options for doing fine control. So that SRK is going to be a great option to take with you camping, just doing all around different tasks. But this is right up there. If you can carry something this big with you, then I would take this over the SRK if I had to choose just one, because a little bit extra length on this. Well, let's do a size comparison. We'll do a couple folding knives and then my two fixed blades. So you got a medium size folding knife here that I can fit all my fingers on. This is the size that is most popular. Benchmade bug out, pair of 3 size. And then this recent purchase, this Recon M1, so your Recon 1 size, which is considered a large. It's considered a large pocket knife. And yeah, you know, if you're holding this, you think, yeah, this can, you know, be self-defense-y if you have to. I don't recommend anyone uses any knives for self-defense, especially in Canada, because if you have to use a knife to survive, so be it. But you're probably going to jail. That's just how it works in Canada. It's going to be a bad day for everybody. But anyway, just that sense of being, you know, of power and strength and safety having this. Well, just look at how much bigger this is. So this is a much longer blade. Of course, it's a fixed blade. And we go to my favorite large fixed blade knife, cold steel Leatherneck, Bowie or Bowie. Main differences, you got more of a upswept handguard. You actually have an identical hand area. You have a, is this a saber grind or a high saber grind? Yeah, saber grind. And then you have this cool looking fuller, just to reduce the weight, maybe add some style. The piercing point is about the same in relation to the center of the tang here. This is up a little bit, this is up a little bit. But obviously you can see these are part of the same family of knives. And so of all of my fixed blades, these are the only 2 that I have currently kept because they're just the ones I resonate the most with. This one's also coded D2. The Leatherneck is made in Taiwan, and the Leatherneck Bowie is also made in Taiwan. So price, about $105 Canadian. How much was this guy? I don't exactly remember. It wasn't terrible. I can't remember, so I will not pretend that I know, but it was still affordable. It was more than this, obviously, but I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to guess, and then you can prove me wrong. I'm going to say this is about 160 bucks. At the most, this will be 200 bucks Canadian. And so, if you know of any other hollow ground, full-size fixed blades that you like, please let me know, because I do really like hollow ground blades. Obviously, the cold steel SRK is a hollow grind. You can get Recon Tantos in hollow grind, but other companies, please let me know. I'll do some research. That concludes my refresh on the cold steel Leatherneck fixed blade, my all-time favorite fixed blade. Okay, have a good rest of your night. I hope if you get a weekend, you get to enjoy it, and I'll talk to you soon.